All right, we're live. Welcome everyone to another episode of React Native Mornings. Um, I'm very excited to have you all here. I'm joined by Alberto Moedana, also known as Beto. Beto, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. So as I'm waiting for everyone to kind of log on and join us here, I feel free to let us know where you're logging in from. As always, I'm Mazen Chami, and I'm signing in from Durham, North Carolina. Where are you joining us from, Beto?
Yeah, I'm joining from Bentonville, Arkansas, kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Nice, nice.
Yes,
Well, I've driven through Arkansas at one point, so been
it's
there.
nice, a lot of field.
Yeah, yeah. We have Gant joining us from New Orleans. Gant, spoiler, will be a guest on a React Native Morning episode soon. Trevor
Nice.
from Ontario.
I'm excited to
Denver,
see everyone in
Colorado.
the chat.
Yeah, keep the chat rolling, everyone. This is fun. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Expo UI. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because this is something that you all released fairly recently, and there's been a lot of buzz around it. And how is this going to change it? Is it going to be a drop-in replacement for UI libraries and all that? We'll kind of get to all that at
Hmm.
some point here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think one thing I wanted to chat with you about is your background is amazing. My background is nowhere near it, but we kind of have the same sound dampening. I don't know what you would call them, panels, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
panels.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually upgraded recently. My wall is white, and since I'm renting here, I'm not able to paint it. I
Yeah,
really want it to be black, but it's not possible. So I just put on the panels, and I really like it. Looks really nice, especially
yeah,
with the lighting.
it is. Yeah,
Highly
yeah.
recommend it.
I do. Yeah, I recommend it too. And I think Darren has figured us out. If you just kind of keep going that way, I eventually end up in Beto's, the same room. Yeah, we're
Yes.
we're in the same room. So I'm in Arkansas today. Um,
Very nice.
so I guess like you are big into content creation. Uh, What is one piece of gear I would say that you can't live without when you're doing your content creation?
Hmm, that's a great question. Well, first thing that comes to mind, I would say a good microphone.
Yeah,
Audio is huge. It's very important. You cannot watch a video if the audio is bad.
yeah,
And I've messed up my audio many times. But yeah, I've learned many things about audio recently. And I think that's the number one priority, especially if you're getting started. Get a good mic, and then you can worry about a camera or something else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Some of these new MacBooks, their cameras are pretty good to start off with, and you can kind
Yep.
of build on it.
I was
Um,
using my iPhone for as my camera for I don't know, like a year.
hmm,
Yeah. And it's pretty good.
yeah,
Looks really nice.
and it has the whole like keeping you in the frame. So if you were to move, it would
Oh
kind of
yeah.
keep you centered. I
Yes.
forget what that's called. So I mean, that's a pretty cool feature that it has there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I
wh-
remember that.
what inspired you to start doing content creation?
Well, it started like 3 years ago. Well, it's been more than that. I would say close to 5 years. I was
Wow.
learning React Native. At the time, I was searching for resources in Spanish. I didn't speak
Mm,
English very well at the time. And it was very hard to find. Basically, no one was creating content about React Native in Spanish. I was searching things like how to add a login screen, how to create a login screen with Cognito, for example, from AWS. Um, and it was pretty painful to do. And since I was learning as well everything, I guess I just saw like an opportunity to help others and also help me reinforce my learning. So I started a YouTube channel in Spanish about React Native and coding. And yeah, I was doing that for like a year, and I started noticing some people commenting in English, saying that, oh God, I don't understand anything about Spanish, but somehow they were following the tutorial and they were able to, do the thing that I was explaining on the video. And that like kind of pushed me to try and just do it in English to, again, improve my English, reinforce my learning,
Yeah.
and help others, right? So I took 3 of the most popular videos that I had at the time that those videos had like 30K views in my YouTube channel in Spanish. So I took 3 of them and I did voiceover. It's
Hmm.
it's very painful to watch them right now because my speaking was very bad.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, 3 videos. I started my YouTube channel called Code with Beto, and those videos did really well. One of them is like the top video in my YouTube channel with more than 150K views.
Yeah,
And
I can tell you I've shared a bunch of your videos over the years with clients and people that are looking to get started in React Native. They're
yeah,
very helpful. And I think one of
thank
our
you. That's cool.
listeners now are saying it help them get into mobile development
Mhm.
and build the foundation needed.
Yep,
I agree with that.
definitely. Nice. Thanks for sharing. That
Yeah.
means a lot.
Yeah, so I'm saying something in Spanish. I assume this is a message for you. I can't read that. So
Excelente. Haz el resto de la entrevista solo en español. They want me to speak in Spanish the rest of the interview.
sure, you speak in Spanish, I'll speak in Arabic, and we'll figure this out and just kind of go
Okay,
from
let's do it.
there. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's bring
Yeah,
AI on.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Jamin said something. It's always painful to watch early videos, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
currently in the still creating painfully bad videos my YouTube journey. I want to so kind of building on that. What's one piece of advice you'd give someone that's just beginning on their content creation journey?
Yeah, I guess the advice would be just do it. No matter if you have a good camera, no matter if you have a good mic, no matter if you really know the topic that you want to explain, that doesn't really matter. No one is going to watch the video. No one cares. At least the first 100 videos, I would say. But
Mhm.
it really helps you, the person who is putting the work, trying to you know gather the knowledge or whatever you are trying to explain. It really it really shows you if you really know something, or it really shows you that you actually don't really understand something and that you can improve something. um, it's really a really humbling experience. um, when someone else is like watching your video, or you are sharing it with someone else, or someone else find it, and they find it helpful, that's really cool. But you shouldn't start like thinking that everyone is going to be watching your videos. Or it's more like, if you want to try it out, you can just do it. Even you don't need to publish it, just do it, try to edit it maybe, and watch the video. And just by doing that, you're going to learn a lot about you, about what you know, about how you explain, how you speak. And that really helps. And then just
Yeah,
put it out there.
yeah,
People
I
will,
agree.
will find
Yeah.
it.
Darren brings up a good point. If you look back on your older work and you're embarrassed about it, that's a good sign. It means you're improving and you're growing. And for
Yes.
your journey, Beto, sounds like you used it one as a tool to learn React Native, but also
Yeah.
to help you with your English eventually, kind of building on that, so English and Spanish, so
Yeah.
videos and all that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of people kind of starting to sign on here. As you're signing on, I have Beto on here with me, and we're going to start talking about Expo UI soon. One last question from Danny. Any tips to improve video quality for a noob?
Okay. So improve video quality. So once you are ready to go to the next step into about video creation, you can get a nice camera. Personally, I use the Sony CV-E10 with a lens of 16 millimeters. That's like kind of the average, I would say, YouTuber
Mhm.
camera. It's really good. It's not that expensive considering the quality. I think I paid like $600 for mine. The lens was $600. I think the camera was like 1,000. I don't know. I don't remember, but it's high quality. it's going to last you for a long time. I would recommend recording in 1080p. And yeah, just a good mic.
Yeah.
If you are starting, the Yeti mic, it's great. If you want something better, you can try the Shure SM7B. Shure SM7B, it's like the mic that Lex Friedman uses. And then if you want to level up,
Hmm.
apart from that, well, that mic is like $500, I think, or $400. And then if you want something better than that, I would recommend a shotgun mic. Personally, I use a Sennheiser. I forget the model, but it's actually very expensive. I wouldn't recommend it for upgrading. The quality is not like a big difference. The only thing that I like about the shotgun mic is that you don't see it on frame here. It's out of the frame. It's not in my face,
Hmm.
and I can move my hands. That's
Yeah.
something that I really enjoy about a shotgun mic. Apart from that, I would recommend recording on OBS in 2K or 1080p at 60 frames per second or 30. That should be fine. And
Yeah.
yeah, once you have that, I should think you should be good.
Yeah. That's good advice there. Yeah. Awesome. Well, kind of let's start digging into things. I think before we dive in,
Mhm.
Beto, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and just kind of walk us through your journey to how you got to where you're at now at Expo.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm Beto. I work as a developer success engineer at Expo. And how I got there? Well, Brent, he is the engineering manager at Expo. He reached out to me like a year ago, asking if I was interested. I would be interested in joining Expo. And funny thing is that he found my YouTube channel and my platform, codewithbeto.dev, and he really liked my work. And he told me that if I was interested, and I said, yeah, I would be interested. And that's how I got into Expo. He found me basically.
Yeah.
Um,
That's awesome.
Before that, I was working as a software engineer 3 at Walmart. I was there for 11 months. Before that, I was doing some consulting work for some clients in Europe. I was basically doing a React Native Expo app for them.
Hmm.
It was really nice, but it was, not a lot of money, but I was happy. Um, then I got the offer from Walmart and I got the relocation package. That's why I moved to Arkansas.
Hmm.
That's why I'm here now. But yeah, 11 months later, I joined Expo. That's
That's
basically how
awesome.
I did it. Yeah,
Nice.
super
Yeah.
fast.
Walmart. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I'm very excited about this topic. Like I mentioned earlier, it's one that we kind of want to
Yeah.
continue building on, right? Expo UI is something that's still in beta, but something that I think you all are kind of pushing along down the line.
Yep.
Um,
We're pushing hard.
yeah. So for our audience, feel free to keep, putting in questions that you might have for Beto or myself, and we'll kind of get them asked as we're kind of going through here. I think to kind of kick things off,
Yep.
Beto, what is Expo UI?
Cool. So Expo UI is a set of primitives and components that are fully native for iOS and Android. They are built using SwiftUI for iOS and Jetpack Compose for Android, and they allow you to integrate fully native UIs. Like, let's say, a picker, a button. You can just import that from Expo UI and use it in your application. That's like the high level
Yeah.
overview of what's Expo
Yeah.
UI.
What do I get from using Expo UI? Why can't I just, like you said, it's like a button. Why can't I just do pressable?
Yeah, well, you get many things by using UI, Expo UI. Traditionally, as you might know, you have been developing React Native applications for a while. Previously, when you needed, let's say, a datetime picker or a context menu, you would need to go and Google React Native context menu or React Native datetime picker, and then read the README
Mhm.
and see, kind of like get a sense if it's well maintained, if it works, and then see the instructions. How can I use this thing? Let's install it. Let's preview. Let's, I don't know, like a lot of friction just because
Yeah.
you needed a date picker.
Mhm.
This is very overwhelming for beginners, by the way. It's hard to maintain. Now you suddenly are depending of from this external package that is, that was created maybe by someone that is not even developing with React Native anymore, like years ago.
Mhm.
So that's one thing that Expo UI solves. It's a okay, and that's one pain point. Then the other pain point is that some of the packages that you find from the community, I mean, they are great. Don't get me wrong. Some of them are the best
Yeah.
of the best things out there, but some of them are also very outdated. Some of them are not like fully native. They are like JavaScript implementations. They are not very performant, um, and it's hard to know, hard to change. If you raise a pull request, they might not even see it.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's another thing. Expo UI kind of like enables you to utilize these primitives that are already available in the platform. iOS already exposes APIs for pickers, buttons, navigation. It's all there. Why we cannot use it as React Native developers, right?
Yeah.
So Expo UI just exposes those underlying um, native primitives through a package so that you can just import a picker, import a context menu, import a switch, a slider, all that good stuff. You can just
Mhm.
import it and use it. You don't need to install anything. You don't need to leave the project. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the advantage of using Expo UI. The other thing is that it's fully native, leveraging SwiftUI for iOS and Jetpack Compose. For those who don't know, SwiftUI is a UI framework developed by Apple for iOS platforms, and Jetpack Compose is a UI framework developed by Google for Android platforms. That's the native stuff that they give developers to create apps on their platforms. So we're just taking those and exposing them for React Native.
Awesome.
Yep.
Is this a drop-in replacement then for UI libraries? Because it seems like it's a central spot for all these components, have you?
Yeah. So this is not a drop-in replacement, and it's not like we're going to lock you in if you decide to use Expo UI.
Mhm.
That's kind of like the beauty of Expo is that you can use anything you want. If your application, if your use case is good enough with just a text and a view, a pressable, God forbid, a touchable opacity from
Yeah.
React Native, that's okay. You can do that. And later in the future, if you need a picker, you can use Expo UI for that, just for
Mhm.
that piece. Let's say that you really like a JavaScript implementation of a picker for Android and web,
Mhm.
and you really want to use a new picker with liquid glass on iOS 26. You can use Expo UI for that on iOS, and then on web, use whatever you want,
Yeah.
web or Android. And yeah, I'm going to show you some examples in a
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
of how that looks. But yeah, basically that's it.
I'm gonna post in the chat kind of the documentation for anyone that wants to take a look at it. Take a look at the documentation. It's great. I think there's a couple questions that we're gonna go through here right
Yep.
before we go into the demo piece. Gant's asking, what specific gap in the React Native ecosystem is this filling, and is there a roadmap for it?
Well, like I guess the gap is what I said previously, like being able to just use the native primitives at the moment is very hard. I think there's a lot of friction, like just searching. Like there was a recent tweet from Simon Grimm.
I'm Grim.
He's a YouTuber. Everyone knows him. He was saying, being a React Native developer, 50% of the work is just knowing the libraries and packages
Yeah.
that exist out there. And that's true, honestly. You need to know React Native, reanimated, navigation, daytime picker, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think Expo UI is kind of helping with that. When you're getting started with React Native, it's overwhelming. It's like very limited. React Native only exposes the native primitives, like the basics, right?
Yeah.
That's why they recommend using a framework. So Expo, it's trying to kind of push that and close that gap of friction, make it seamless, and following best practices, leveraging native implementations, which, in my opinion, make your application look better, clean, familiar, and yeah. That's it. I think that's it.
Yeah,
Another thing that I wanted to add, I said previously, you can just use one component from Expo UI. Personally, I really like the new context menu with Expo UI. So in all my applications, I just use, the regular view, pressables. And then when I need a context menu for iOS, just for iOS, I use Expo UI.
yeah,
And then if you want to do something else, again, you can just use the regular view. But we also have really cool libraries like React Native Skia, Web GPU. We have DOM components. If you really want to if you need like a web view, you can embed it using Expo DOM components. Or if your package only works on React for web, one of the examples that we used for a video was having a text input that allow you to edit the text, like adding bold, italic, centering the text. That's pretty painful to do natively.
it is.
And there
Yeah,
are some pretty cool web packages. There are solutions already, so you can use Expo DOM components to leverage and take advantage of everything you can and kind of put it together. And
yeah,
at the end of the day, achieve the goal you want.
yeah. So before we jump into the demo, one last question. When using the components, if I'm in iOS, I'll need to use Expo UI,
Yep.
SwiftUI,
Mhm.
import it that way, or Expo UI, Jetpack Compose for Android.
Okay, that's a great question, because I've seen many React Native developers, especially beginners, asking how they can implement a liquid glass button on Android.
Mhm.
And that's actually not possible
Yeah,
because, like I said before, SwiftUI is a UI framework developed by Apple for iOS platforms and a Jetpack Compose for Android platforms. So that means that it's not possible to mix them, right?
yeah,
It's completely different words. So you would import from Expo UI if you are developing for iOS, and you will import from Jetpack Compose if you are developing for Android.
awesome. Yeah,
Of course, you can still retain the compatibility by writing an implementation for iOS and Android,
yeah.
if that makes sense.
And that builds on to this question that Danny asked. Will we ever see a combined API for both iOS and Android? Or is that not
Nice. I was hoping someone was going to ask that. Perfect. Thank you, Danny. Yes, we're actually looking into that. We were doing some testing. Actually, Kudo from the team, he's really pushing Expo UI. He's doing an amazing work, and he was experimenting unifying the API. At the end of the day, we're going to take a look at an example here. But at the end of the day, if you pay close attention, Expo UI, Swift UI and Jetpack Compose, they all are exposing the same components, right?
Yeah,
Buttons, sliders, speakers. They are copying each other. There are a couple of elements that are not available in other platforms, but they are working on, enabling and basically copying each other. So yeah, there is an opportunity to do that. We were testing with AI. We realized that if you really generate like let's say like a JSX implementation of Swift UI, the AI already knows Swift UI. So if you just teach the UI, this is how you write Swift UI with JSX syntax, it's
mhm.
going to get it right. So we're planning on unifying the API. Definitely. Yeah, we're working hard on that.
That's awesome. Well, that's good to hear there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess this is a good opportunity for us to kind of jump into the demo part.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, so for this demo, guys, I want to show you a 3 applications. One is going to be the React Conf app that I was recently working with Caddy. She works at Expo as well. I'm pretty sure everyone knows Caddy.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were working on this application, and this is a great example. It's open source. Well, maybe we can leave it in the description, because it uses, native stuff for iOS, native stuff for Android, and looks great. This is how it looks. You can see here on the right, we have a picker for the days here using liquid glass. We have a context menu on the top right. We have this button, which is a liquid glass button with the prominent style that's new from iOS 26.
Mhm.
We have liquid glass bottom tabs. using Expo Router version 6. We have context menus. We also have previews, link previews available in Expo Router version 6, by the way. You can, bookmark a talk here and you can see it there. So this application definitely feels native, feels like it was made for iOS.
Yeah.
And look at this. We have this beautiful input that animates beautifully when you present the keyboard. I search for Evan. I always search for Evan. And then long press. There we go. So this application is using Expo UI, Expo Router version 6. And the goal is to, keep it native as possible, so that users are familiar, right? It's using iOS 26. You can see the background, the kind of like the fade blur at the top. But like I said before, it's not using everything. It's not everything about Expo UI, just the things that you care about or the things that you need. Like, for example, we wanted to add this Powered by Expo component here, which uses a shader with React Native Skia. And you can see it animating. It looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the advantage of using Expo, like the flexibility that you have. You can, drop in something using Skia, dropping something GPU, liquid glass here and there, pressable somewhere else. One more thing that I want to show here is that if you open the form sheet, now it looks really cool on iOS 26 with this background blur.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to give like something cool here, like an extra stuff here. So when you scroll all the way down, you get this, and it's a shader as well using React Native Skia. Of course, using Reanimated for the animation here. So yeah. Oh, and the picker is SwiftUI, by the way. Expo UI. Mm-hmm. Now you might be wondering, this is going to look bad on Android, right? Let me show you. Here's the Android version. It's compatible with light and dark mode. It's using Jetpack Compose for the day picker. So this is fully native.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same UI, but the native tabs, these are the regular native tabs for Android. We have the search here. Of course, this looks different because we are using the native implementation. So iOS provides APIs specifically for like the search here, right? This input didn't implement it. We are just using the underlying APIs. Apple did that. So we're just using those. And yeah, same thing here.
I guess this is also, you're mentioning a lot of liquid glass too. So if my OS or my user's OS is on iOS 18 still, I know my wife is, she refuses to upgrade to the latest one. How will that affect her look, right? Because the search is not in the bottom for iOS 18 yet.
That is a great question. I'm going to attempt to run it on iOS 18 just for you. 1 second. Oh, I forgot. I think I'm using 16 Pro for iOS 18. I might need to install it again.
We're gonna find out.
But just wanna confirm that it actually works and it looks great. Oh, it's compiling. Yeah, I added Expo Glass Effect. By the way, I want to talk about that. Let's see.
We don't have to do that now. We could do that after, because I know you want to demo the glass effect stuff. We could do that and then kind of circle back to that later, if that works.
Yeah, let's restart then. Cool. Yeah, anyways, it looks like it used to look before, like in the iOS 18. But you will have native tabs. So maybe if I can dismiss this. No, it's not going to load. I guess your wife can download the app.
Yeah, and find out. Yeah.
And find out. It is available on the App Store. Cool. So, well, let me next show you, apart from that, how you can use these components, how this is being implemented. If you take a look here, I'm pointing to the day picker, which I think it's a great example. It uses Expo UI and Jetpack Compose for Android. So my file is named daypicker.tsx, and I'm importing a picker from Expo UI / Jetpack Compose.
Okay.
So we're planning on unifying the API, but at the moment, because it's in beta for iOS and alpha for Android, you need to do the / and then select the framework. So, you are familiar with this API. It's just JSX. The way you use it is like this. You pass the options, day one, day two, selected index. So everyone is familiar with this syntax. You can even learn more just by coming here and check the props and types and stuff like that. Now, this is actually just for Android. And if you want to implement something specific for a platform, since we wanted to do the liquid glass on iOS and maybe, add a couple extra features for iOS since, it's new, we added this daypicker.ios.tsx. So in case someone doesn't know, it is possible to add file platform extensions to your components. So you can say something like .android. That means that the bundler is going to load this file for Android platforms. In this case, we're doing iOS. You can do this for web, or you can even say .native if you have a different implementation for web.
You can also create your own custom ones for whatever reasons you might have.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so for SwiftUI, same thing, but this case /SwiftUI, and then we have a picker as well. Now, at the moment, you need to have something called host because we're using an API that allows you to host SwiftUI views in UIKit. Basically, this is how we are leveraging SwiftUI inside your React Native application. So whenever you are going to write something about SwiftUI, you need to declare a host. And then, just provide a style. This host, it's actually going to be like a view container. And I recommend that you use the match contents. This is going to just match the size of the children, in this case, the picker. And pretty much the same thing. So if you take a look at the API for these two, you pass the options, selected index. It's pretty much the same thing for Android and iOS.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we were, discussing. It should be possible to just unify this API and make it work for both platforms. Of course, there's always the possibility to extend a specific feature. iOS, like SwiftUI, has modifiers. So if you tried SwiftUI, they have something called modifiers. It's basically the way you can add styles or specific functionality or a specific look or variant to the component. And that's, platform specific only for SwiftUI. But I think Jetpack Compose, I don't have like a lot of experience with Jetpack Compose, but they also have modifiers, I think. And you can, pass custom things in there. So we just need to figure out a way of passing the iOS modifiers and Android modifiers and then apply them.
Yeah, this is the hardest part, right? You've built them for each platform. Now it's getting the unification on all of them. Does Expo UI support web?
Not at the moment, but it's in the plan as well.
Okay.
We are, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Right now, we are pushing to improve the API for Android. So we hope that for SDK 55, we're going to have a beta version for Jetpack Compose. Once we have these two, maybe we can work on unifying the API. And once we have that, I think web is way easier. We have way more resources.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't work at the moment, just to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is one thing. Another thing that I wanted to show you is this context menu, which is my personal experience. It's been super painful to implement these context menus in React Native. So let me show you how this looks here.
Yeah, these are pretty cool. I haven't seen them on iOS 26. I like it.
Time zone switch. So same thing. We have a .ios extension just for iOS, and then this one which doesn't have any platform is going to be for web, Android, and everything else. So in this case, we're just using a simple pressable and text. But for iOS, we wanted to go, one step forward just to show that you can use context menus. Yeah, so same thing. You can just import a context menu. Not only that, you can import many things, but yeah, you can start combining all these things. Like, then you also need a host. In this case, we can pass modifiers. This is specific for iOS. You can pass this style glass, or you can even do like glass prominent. Hit save. Let's see if that did something. Oh yeah, I need to refresh because I restarted the server. There you go.
Yeah.
Fully native, of course, so you can drag your finger. It feels native. It's the native implementation basically. Okay. Oh no, this is glass.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's cool. You also get, even though this is native implementation, you still get hot reloading. That's never lost for us.
That's a huge advantage, by the way, because if you are just using SwiftUI with Xcode, you need to compile your application on every change. That's waste of time. Okay, so this is one example. Any questions here? I have another example that I want to show as well.
Go ahead, keep going. Yeah.
I'm going to minimize this, and maybe let's see if I can bring this here without breaking my computer. This is my Expo UI playground. It's open source as well. You can find it in the description. This is where I do crazy things. Let me start the server.
Yeah, this repo is cool. I've checked it out a couple times.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Let me stop the other server. You have a little script that kills the port 8081 before starting a new one.
Nice.
That saves me a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how it looks. Just let me warn you, there's a couple bugs here. First of all, well, yeah, I can show this here. This is actually coming to Expo Router version 6 or 7. Notice this unstable header left, header right items. At the moment, it's super painful to implement header stuff, like header buttons, using the new UI effect and all that. And actually, Apple with iOS 26, I don't know, for some reason, they added a bunch of APIs for the header buttons. So now we are exposing those on Expo Router through React Native screens.
Nice.
So yeah, Software mentioned they recently added this massive pull request to support header buttons. There is a little issue right now, so you might notice that I don't have any paddings on the side, but they are going to fix that soon. Yeah, you can do crazy things like this. Having nested context menus.
That's cool.
Yep, fully native.
Going. Yeah.
This is, my options. Let's see if I can find it here. So you don't need to care about the design at the moment, which is something that I really like. It's just say what you want. We'll make it look good for you. Just give me the title of your button. This is what's happening here. You can have an icon if you prefer. All this is coming from screens.
Yeah, that's the SF symbol right there that you have that comes prepackaged with Xcode specifically. Yep. Yeah,
exactly. You can have buttons like these, and I even added this custom view with my profile picture using glass effect. Let me show you how it looks. So this is how you do it. You can now just say header left items. This is going to take an array of buttons. Then you can pass an object defining the type of button that you want. So you can use button, custom, menu, spacing. This is a custom element. I'm using a glass view. By the way, I want to talk about this component in a moment. And then an image from Expo image. Just pass the image and yeah, you have this beautiful button that looks amazing.
You have the native interactions there automatically.
Yeah, exactly. So something very important that I almost forgot to mention is that now that we have all these cool features on iOS 26, you might feel like you want to just support SwiftUI. That's how I feel. Sorry, iOS 26. because the new liquid glass, right? But actually, you need to be careful because you also need to be thinking about iOS 18, like you said, Mazen.
Mhm.
So we created this component, Expo Glass Effect, created by Nishan from the team, the SDK team, which exposes this method is liquid glass available. And when you're adopting liquid glass in iOS 26 with Expo UI, you're going to be using this a lot. So make sure to install Expo Glass Effect. This is just going to expose a Boolean, letting you know if liquid glass is available on the running device. Yeah, you can then style accordingly. So for example, in the header, you might want to have a blur effect on iOS 18. If you
Yeah.
remember, in iOS 18, it was cool to have the blur effect. Now that's gone. You can just
Mhm.
pass undefined, but still, it's going to look good on iOS 18. That's how you can validate. On top of that, this amazing package exposes a glass view. So you might want to add a glass view as well for iOS 26 only. You can do it like this. Just call it, give it a style. You can make it interactive or not. So if I say no, let me see. If I refresh,
Yeah.
now it's not interactive, but
Yeah.
still you can detect the pressable.
Yeah. This is a cool component too, because with Glass Effect coming out, designers are like, hey, we need to implement it. We need to get this
Yeah,
going. We need to use it. Like all that.
exactly.
Trevor in the chat um, mentioned this would be great for a brownfield project that he's working on. That actually makes me think of, like, is this a good package or one that you would recommend for devs to use on brownfield or just exclusively on greenfield projects?
That's a good question. Well, you definitely have a dependency on Expo
Yeah.
and Expo module score. But if you are, increasingly adopting Expo in your brownfield project, it's totally fine.
Okay.
But if you are building something, yeah, I guess not everything, but carefully
Yeah.
considering that it is in beta right now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
What about accessibility? Are those props automatically trickled, I guess, up, would say, from the native side exposed to the JavaScript side?
yes. So we at the moment, it's in beta. We are
Hmm.
not exposing like everything about accessibility, but since it is actually the native implementation coming from SwiftUI and Jetpack Compose, you can consider it to be the same accessibility that you can do on the native platform. You will be able to do it on Expo UI.
Perfect. Yeah.
Um, Now in here, just to finish, I have like a list of things that you can do right now with Expo UI for Swift UI, since it's the one that is in beta. Oh, okay, yeah, I deleted this screen, but anyways,
Mhm.
you can use the glass effect prominent for primary actions. Now we have, um, you can pass the size of the button, and all of these are modifiers native from Swift UI. Let me see if I can show you that button section. Look
Mm.
at this. So this is a V stack.
So vertical stack. Okay.
Yep, and very clean. You don't need to style it because you are just using the variant. Um,
Yeah, because in the past this is a view, and then you pass it, like for a row, H stack horizontal. You would
yeah,
have to do flex direction row, and then you pass in your gap, and now it's just automatic that way.
exactly. And that's something that I really like about Expo. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Swift UI is that they make it hard to create bad UIs, like ugly UIs. They give you like a nice padding, nice spacing, nice
Yeah.
font size, good colors. So if you just use the primitives and stay close to the native implementation, you will develop faster, your code will look clean, and
Hmm.
when Apple decides to change the entire UI system, you can just compile it with the new Xcode version and it's going to work.
Nice. Yeah.
that's how React Native was able to adopt Liquid Glass super quickly.
Yeah. I know on our client project, the day it was released, I think we had our new version being released a day or two shortly after. And we right away did a quick check and we saw like, hey, okay, we're not ready for liquid glass completely. So we turned it off,
Okay.
able to release our version. And then now slowly circling back with the designers to start implementing these features within it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, we're coming back to the flexibility of using React Native and Expo.
Yeah.
This really unlocks many possibilities. You still have the benefit of using over-the-air updates, hot reloading.
Yeah.
It's just way better than the native experience.
Yeah. You all at Expo are really focused on the developer experience and making it developer friendly to use Expo and code in React Native. And that is very, helpful for us devs. I can say
Yep.
from personal experience.
Yes. Thanks for that. Yeah, the team is doing amazing work. The SDK team, the Expo
Yeah.
router team, with the new version. I mean, look at these staffs. They work from day zero. Everyone was going crazy. Oh, it's React Native outdated. Now that Liquid Glass is out.
Yeah.
It's funny. But yeah, this is the demo. Just to show off one of the apps that I'm working on. I just want to show you how this would look on a real app. I'm working on this tattoo app.
I saw you tweeting about this.
Yeah. Look at this header. I mean, it was super easy to implement.
Yeah.
And let me generate a tattoo for you. I'm just going to generate a realistic tattoo. It's, a nano banana wrapper. Yeah, it's not working.
Yeah.
Let me see. Sometimes it fails, But what I
Tattoo
want to show
moment.
is if you pay attention yeah, that's my tattoo.
There you go.
Look at this glass effect. And when you kind of like drag it to the left, it merges with the other liquid glass buttons here. And that's just the native implementation using the native primitives with the new version of native screens and stuff. Also, you can implement things like this liquid glass input using Expo UI. We have this is actually just a C stack with a modifier, because SwiftUI allows you to pass modifiers. So you can just add a modifier like glass effect, and then you can pass what type of glass you want. So in this case, I'm using the regular in this application. But it just want to mention that it feels native. It feels like it belongs to iOS, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can change the shape and all that. That's all I wanted to show, actually.
That's
Any
pretty
questions?
cool. We don't have any questions, but I think I kind of want to wrap this up here.
Awesome.
Do this. I'll stop sharing. But I think, kind of wrapping all this up, the main highlights here are we're staying close to native implementation, right? So it gives you that native feel out of the box. Users aren't like, oh, this feels like a React Native app. That is a thing of the past. Now this is a native app being built by native components, which is great.
Exactly.
And it's familiar to us React Native devs, right? Because we're still writing in TypeScript, JavaScript. React Native is just we're doing it natively, right? So kind of leveling up that way. And like you said, adoption is easy. When Apple decides to come up with a new UI, boom, all of a sudden those components are ready, easily set up for us.
Or Google
to implement. If Google decides like, hey, Apple did iOS 26 liquid glass, we're now going to do, I think they use, or something different, right? They do, I don't know, what to think about that.
They might be planning something, right? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty cool. That being said, what's next for Expo UI? Because right now it's in beta. Is that correct?
It is in beta for iOS. For Android, it is in alpha.
Okay.
So what's next is just keep improving the implementation that we have for Android. We want to make it seamless, expose as many features as possible. We're always getting really nice pull requests from the community that are passionate about that specific platform. And we're also, reading about what's new on either iOS 26 or Jetpack Compose with material design and all that. We want to, expose those things. After that, the plan is to unify the API. Then after that, maybe we can take a look at web implementation. But yeah, I guess the goal is that you can just use any native part that you need.
Yeah.
Like if you want like a liquid glass input, you can use it today. Like a context menu, you can use it today. If you want something about Android, Jetpack Compose, you can check if it's available. It is in beta at the moment, but we're improving it. Yeah, that's, I guess, what's next.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think, for the listeners, Beto mentioned new pull requests are coming out and all that.
Yeah.
Please check out the documentation. I have it, kind of showing up here. It's in the chat. Check out the documentation. Check out the repo. Give back. This is the nice thing about the React Native community is it's an open source community where we essentially all help each other make things better and give best user experiences out there. So I think it's great. It's a great thing.
We've been getting amazing pull requests from the community, by the way. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, I mean, despite it being beta and alpha, I have, seen it on specifically my client project. I did a little playground, just a couple of components here and there. And it feels stable to me. I know it's still an alpha. I know it's breaking changes might happen in the next release. I understand that.
Yep.
But it does feel stable. And I feel like it's almost, production ready. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. I'm actually using it.
Yeah.
Like if it was production ready. But of course, I know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
We need to improve it as well. Some edge cases that we need to figure out, but it's coming along well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and we can see that. Cool. So I want to, thank our audience for coming along. I also want to thank you, Beto, for coming on the show. This was an awesome discussion. I loved the demo. Thanks for showing all that.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, and to our listeners, don't forget to subscribe and reach out if you have any topic suggestions that you'd like me to cover in the future. I have a big list of streams that are coming on soon with some awesome guests. So please, subscribe and, check out the socials for all that kind of stuff. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.